Understanding addiction differently. Addiction is one of the most misunderstood human struggles. Most people think addiction is about weakness, about bad choices, about lack of discipline or morals. But addiction is none of those things. Addiction is not the problem. Addiction is the solution someone found when they didn't know another way to survive. Behind every addiction, whether it's drugs, alcohol, food, gambling, social media, work, pornography, shopping, or even toxic relationships, there is a hidden emotional need trying to be met. People don't wake up one day and decide to destroy their lives. They wake up trying to escape pain, emptiness, fear, or loneliness. I end this video. We are going to explore 5 hidden needs behind every addiction. Step by step, not to judge, but to understand. Because understanding is where healing begins. Step 1. The need to escape pain. Let's start with the most common and powerful hidden need behind addiction. The need to escape pain. Pain doesn't always mean physical pain. More often, it's emotional pain. Unprocessed trauma, childhood neglect, abandonment, failure, grief, rejection, shame, pain that never had a safe place to go. Many people carrying emotional pain were never taught how to process it. They were taught to be strong, to move on, to stop crying, or to get over it. But pain doesn't disappear when ignored. It goes underground. And when pain has no outlet, it looks for relief. This is where addiction enters. Addiction doesn't begin with pleasure. It begins with relief. The first drink, the first hit, the first binge, the first scroll. For a moment, just a moment, the pain goes quiet. The anxiety fades. The thoughts slow down, the memories soften, and the brain remembers that moment. Not because it felt good, but because it felt less bad. Over time, the brain associates the addictive behavior with survival. It becomes a coping mechanism. The addiction says, do this and you won't feel so much. But the relief never lasts, so the cycle repeats. Pain escape, temporary relief, guilt, more pain, deeper addiction. The tragedy is not that someone uses addiction to escape pain. The tragedy is that they never learned another way. Step 2. The need to feel incontrol. The second hidden need behind addiction is the need to feel in control. Many people who struggle with addiction feel powerless in their real lives. They may feel controlled by others, trapped by circumstances, overwhelmed by responsibilities, emotionally unsafe, financially stressed, chronically judged or criticized. When life feels unpredictable, addiction offers a false sense of control. You can choose when to drink, when to use, when to scroll, when to escape. That choice feels powerful, especially to someone who feels powerless everywhere else. For some people, addiction is the only place they feel autonomy. Ironically, the thing that eventually controls them begins as the one thing they could control. This is why telling someone with addiction to just stop often makes things worse. Stopping feels like losing the last bit of control they have. Addiction becomes a private space where no one else gets to decide. And when that space is threatened, the fear intensifies. The addiction says, at least here you're in charge. Even when it's a lie. Step 3. The need to feel something or nothing. The third hidden need behind addiction is the need to feel something or nothing at all. Some people use addiction because they feel too much. Their emotions are overwhelming. Their nervous system is always on edge. Their thoughts never stop. Addiction quiets the storm. Others use addiction because they feel nothing, numbness, emptiness, disconnection. A sense of being dead inside. Addiction becomes stimulation. It creates intensity, dopamine, excitement. A sense of aliveness. Both paths lead to the same place. Addiction becomes an emotional regulator. It turns the volume up when life feels empty. It turns the volume down when life feels unbearable. This is why addiction often worsens during major life changes. Loss, trauma, identity crises, loneliness, burnout, because the emotional system is overloaded or shut down. The addiction fills the gap. Step 4. The need for anesthesia. And the fourth hidden need behind addiction is one most people never talk about: the need for connection. Humans are wired for connection. Isolation isn't just uncomfortable, it's painful. Many people struggling with addiction feel deeply alone. Even when surrounded by others, they may feel unseen, misunderstood, judged, unworthy. Emotionally unsafe addiction becomes a companion. It's predictable. It doesn't reject. It doesn't criticize. It's always available. In moments of loneliness, Addiction says, I'm here. For some, addiction replaces relationships. For others, it numbs the pain of not having them. This is why recovery often fails when people focus only on stopping the behavior, but not replacing the connection. You cannot remove someone's only source of comfort without offering another. Healing doesn't happen in isolation, it happens in safe connection. Step 5. The need to be accepted ASUARE. The fifth hidden need behind addiction is acceptance. This is where shame lies. Many people struggling with addiction believe something is fundamentally wrong with them. They feel not enough, too much, broken, unlovable, unworthy of care. Addiction becomes a place where they don't have to pretend, where the mask comes off, where expectations disappear, where self-hatred pauses, temporarily. The addiction doesn't judge them, people do. And shame is one of the strongest drivers of addiction. The more shame someone feels, the deeper they hide. The deeper they hide, the stronger the addiction grows. This is why punishment, humiliation, and moral judgment rarely help. They feed the very thing addiction needs to survive. Step 6. Why willpower is not enough. Now, one truth should be clear. Addiction is not about willpower. If willpower worked, addiction wouldn't exist. Addiction lives in the nervous system, not logic. It is a learned survival response. That doesn't mean people are powerless. It means healing requires addressing the need, not just stopping the behavior. You don't heal addiction by removing the crutch. You heal it by healing the injury. Step 7. What real healing looks like. Real healing begins with different questions. Not, why can't I stop? But, what pain am I trying to escape? What am I afraid to feel? What do I need that I never received? What part of me learned this to survive? Healing happens when pain is acknowledged, emotions are felt safely, connection is rebuilt, shame is replaced with compassion, new coping skills are learned, addiction fades when it's no longer needed. Step 8. A message for anyone struggling. If you are struggling with addiction, hear this clearly. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not a failure. You adapted. Your mind found a way to protect you when it didn't know another way. Now, you can learn a better one. And if you love someone struggling with addiction, remember this: behind the behavior is a human being in pain. Understanding doesn't excuse harm, but it opens the door to healing. Closing, the truth about addiction: addiction is not the enemy. Unmet needs are. When we treat addiction with curiosity instead of judgment, with compassion instead of punishment, with connection instead of isolation, recovery becomes possible. Not because people are forced to change, but because they no longer need to escape.